Well, never mind all that stuff, because COVID also taught Sunny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered. I know, amazing. That means it's time for...
Living your life and you're feeling low. You don't know what is true, you don't know what's true. So you quick flip through the channels to watch Sunny on The View. Oh my god, the stuff she says is dumb. Where the hell they get this woman from? She's a host who's always crass and lame, with lots of nonsense to proclaim.
The meltdown on The View had nothing to do with Mercury in retrograde. No, it was Greg Gutfeld, armed with sarcasm and a folder of facts, who shattered Sunny Hostin's teleprompter and possibly her ego. The drama was so thick, Kleenex stock spiked. If you've ever wanted to see someone unravel faster than a wig in a wind tunnel, buckle up. This was the showdown nobody expected, least of all The View's audience. And wait till you hear what Sunny said when the cameras stopped rolling.
The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to...
In just 2 minutes, Greg Gutfeld exposed more contradictions than The View has covered up in 20 years. What started as a simple question, harder than what's your favorite color, spiraled into a 4-camera emotional implosion. Sunny Hostin didn't just crack. She shattered, like a wine glass at a Sopranos encore.
So, Sunny, I bet you haven't been in a supermarket since COVID for about 3 years.
I haven't been in a supermarket since COVID. For about 3 years. That's when I discovered Instacart, and I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well, and it's so that's been an issue I think for the company. But man, you can get toiletries, you can get fire logs. You know those big bounty towels you don't want to carry from Costco. Somebody else goes.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable. Hey, but at least I tip.
Sunny Hostin took center stage with her usual combo platter. Blame everyone else, shout over facts, and sprinkle in some courtroom cosplay. Her legal logic. Think teenager playing Guitar Hero. Passionate, loud, but catastrophic. Just another day on The View. Political group therapy with a side of self-congratulation, pretending that hot takes are somehow saving democracy.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from Europe.
Never watched The View? Picture a Facebook comment thread where everyone skimmed one Wikipedia page on the Constitution and now thinks they're qualified for the Supreme Court. Sunny Hostin, the self-declared voice of reason, treats disagreement like an existential threat. And by reason, we mean caffeine-fueled monologues where logic is a distant cousin nobody calls.
I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
Fact of life. Interesting change of tune. For more, we go to our chief Sunny Hostin correspondent for a reaction.
Then Greg Gutfeld showed up, like a wrecking ball in a blazer. Not polished. Not rehearsed. Just the dinner guest who says what everyone else is thinking. And once he started reading off Sunny's greatest hits of hypocrisy, she folded faster than a lawn chair in a thunderstorm. 1 minute she's calling half the country goblins, the next she's begging for civility. Disagreeing with her is hate speech, but mocking others, just passionate debate.
And milk this till the end of time. You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm gonna go, slave owner! Kat, I just watched that. That's the second time I've watched that. She was tipped off beforehand, right? Because they had to tell her before, so she had time to regroup. They wouldn't just
Really?
surprise. You think? No?
I don't know. I feel like she could have maybe done better. Okay.
Greg Gutfeld dismantled her logic like an IKEA bookshelf. No manual, just chaos. Sunny's outrage activates when conservatives sneeze, but goes mysteriously silent when her political favorites torch the Constitution. She'll dissect a typo in a conservative's tweet but overlook full-blown corruption in her own camp. And when Greg presented her contradictions like a scrapbook, the audience gasped like they saw a ghost. Cue Sunny, PR trained to the bone, tearing up and calling criticism a hate crime against every woman, minority, and emotional support goldfish in America.
I think that women, white women in particular, want to protect this patriarchy here because it's to their benefit.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that their husbands do well. They want to make sure that their sons do well. They want to make sure that their children do well. And they want to make sure that they do well. Most of the women in some of these studies are married white women, and they do fall in line with what their husbands are doing.
Is people have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say in The View, because without it, she's...
But those tears weren't for reflection, they were performance art. After years of mocking half the country, Sunny Hostin finally cracked the second someone handed her a mirror. Even Whoopi Goldberg chimed in with her signature line, "Facts are social construct." Behind the scenes, producers were probably massaging Sunny's chakras. But this wasn't a meltdown, it was a full-blown political exorcism.
Joy Behar gets racism after all. She's been black on Halloween. Yeah. But Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. But that is convenient, right? It's like one of my aunts dies every time Brand Kilmeade wants to hang out. Maybe Joy needs a full day to read her hate mail, and that's just from the rest of the cast. So Scott had to deal with Sunny Hostin and her typical self...
While Sunny Hostin sobbed into her oat milk latte, Greg Gutfeld dropped truth bombs like parade confetti. Twitter lit up. Memes multiplied. Strong opinions, weak spines started trending. Receipts don't lie became gospel. Even the undecideds began noticing the double standards. For once, someone called The View what it really is, a Tumblr thread with a production budget. Emotion is king, outrage is synchronized, but logic, that's contraband.
Like this chick, we didn't think it was the best thing that could have happened to us. Although it did get Joy Behar to wear a mask. You make me sick. It's funny, her being named Joy is like me being named Ugly.
When the dust settled, The View didn't reflect. They spun it. Sunny's public unraveling was rebranded as a moment about bullying. The irony, thicker than Whoopi's eye rolls. Instead of promoting debate, the show morphed into a televised affirmation circle. Logic is banned. Dissent is offensive. And irony gets tackled like a streaker at the Super Bowl.
Did you watch the whole thing or just the parts that I sent you?
I watched obviously just the parts that you said. Did I watch a whole episode of The View?
No woman can do that unless you're stupid. But
I have a job.
here's the thing. How can they call themselves progressives when they keep saying that nothing has progressed? Then it's on them.
Right. I just wish I could have, would have watched if I could, would have been Joy Behar watching that.
Yes.
And being like, I totally made the right call. It was not an accident that they had him there on her day off.
Yes.
When she was, presented herself as the, expert on systemic.
Naturally, a rebrand followed. Sunny Hostin returned with a monologue on growth and vulnerability, as if her breakdown was a TED Talk on healing. Forget the fact-checking in 4K. Now it was a masterclass in emotional intelligence. This wasn't just a meltdown, it was a Marvel origin story. Welcome to the Gaslighters Guild, starring Sunny as the tearful truth dodger and Greg Gutfeld as the grenade of honesty.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions? Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say in The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses. Regardless of skin color, people marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist.
You'd think The View might learn something. Maybe invite someone who challenges their narrative. Maybe let real debate breathe. But no. The odds of intellectual honesty showing up on that set are lower than Sunny winning a Pulitzer for political courage. Instead, stay tuned for future segments like Feelings, Facts, featuring therapy llamas and yoga for cognitive dissonance.
More time to talk. And I thought Will Smith wouldn't let a black man finish. If her IQ was half as high as her smugness, she'd be Einstein. And later it got weird after Whoopi Goldberg asked a question and Sunny chimed in.
But let's give credit where it's due. Sunny Hostin's meltdown was a gift. A public service. A reminder that you can only gaslight your audience, and yourself, for so long before someone calls your bluff. This wasn't just about politics. It was ego versus truth. And this time, truth didn't just win, it roasted the panel, signed autographs, and went viral.